All right. And tonight, as you lay down to sleep and you listen to me, I will be reading an excerpt from my book, Breaking. Okay. And it is now available on Amazon, Kindle, and paperback. And it is by me, Naija Colson. All right. So I'm just going to pick a random page out of the book. All right. The sunlight poured into Janelle's cozy kitchen as the smell of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air. Monica sat at the island, her hands wrapped around a warm mug, feeling slightly more grounded than she had the day before. Janelle moved around the kitchen in her crisp white blouse and fitted gray trousers, packing her work bag. Her usual aura of calm efficiency was in full force. You sure you don't want to stay a little longer? Janelle asked, pausing to adjust her earring in the mirror by the door. You know, I don't mind. I could even bring you something to eat on my lunch break. Monica shook her head, offering a small smile. I'll be fine, Janelle. I need to get home and sort out my thoughts. Besides, I can't keep imposing on you like this. Girl, you can never impose, Janelle said, firmly zipping her bag and shut, walking back to the kitchen. But you better promise me you'll call if anything feels off, okay? Don't play the hero. I'm serious. Monica chuckled softly. I promise. If anything happens, you'll be the first to know. Janelle gave her a knowing look. Good. Oh, and before I forget, my job is hiring. I don't have all the details yet, but as soon as they let me know, I'll give you the rundown, sister. It could be a good opportunity for you. Monica tilted her head curiously. Really? What's the position? Something in admin, I think, Janelle replied, shrugging. But know how my boss loves to keep things vague until the last minute. I'll let you know as soon as they stop playing games. Thanks, Janelle. I appreciate you thinking of me. Monica sipped her coffee, her mind already spinning with possibilities. A fresh start might be exactly what she needed. As Janelle grabbed her keys, she turned back to Monica one last time. Okay, I'm out. Text me when you get home, and remember, no matter what, I've got your back. Monica smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest that momentarily pushed away the lingering tension. Thanks, Janelle. I mean it. With that, Janelle left, the sound of her heels clicking on the pavement fading into the morning stillness. Monica sat alone for a few moments, staring into her coffee as she replayed. Monica sat alone for a few moments, starting into her coffee as she replayed the events of the past few days in her mind. The strange encounter at the boutique, the unsettling moments at Alonzo's, the eerie text messages, all of it felt like pieces of a puzzle she didn't have the picture for. Hey, Danielle. Finally, she stood there gathering her things. She needed to get home. Where could she process everything in her own space? As Monica got into her car and started the engine, she let out a deep sigh. The sun was climbing higher in the sky, and the warmth seeped through her windshield. Without hesitation, she pulled out Janelle's driveway and headed straight home. The drive was uneventful, but felt longer than usual. Her thoughts wavering between the strange events of the past few days and the comfort of her own sanctuary. When Monica finally arrived at her apartment, she locked the door behind her, leaning against for a moment, as if physically block out the world. Her cozy living room greeted her with the faint smell of lavender from the diffuser that was on from yesterday. She kicked off her shoes and made her way to the bathroom. The day before had already weighed on her heavily, and she needed to wash it away. I mean, literally. In the bathroom, Monica turned on the shower, letting the water heat until steam began to cloud the mirror. She stripped off her clothes and stepped under the hot spray, closing her eyes as the water cascaded over her. It was soothing, almost meditative, as if each drop carried away a fragment of her anxiety. She let out a deep breath, feeling the tension in her shoulders start to melt away. As she reached for the shampoo, a faint sound made her freeze. She turned, her head slightly, water dripping down her face. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it sounded like a door creaking. Her heart began to race. Had she locked the door? She was sure she had, but now doubt was creeping in. Calm down, Monica, she whispered to herself, shaking her head. It's probably just the old pipes. Good morning, Danielle. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Quickly, finishing her shower, she wrapped herself in a plush towel, stepped out into the foggy bathroom. Her apartment was eerie and quiet. The kind of quiet that made her feel hyper aware of every sound. She walked to the living room, her bare feet paddling softly on the hardwood floors. Her eyes scanned the room. Nothing seemed out of place. She walked to the front door, checked the lock. It was secure. She exhaled, shaking breath, and turned away. She then made her way to the closet. Usually, it was a haven of organization with rows of color-coordinated outfits, shoes lined up like soldiers, and ancestors displayed like art. But today, it was slightly disheveled. Hangers askew, a shoe out of place, a scarf draped over a shelf. Monica sighed, knowing she had to take some time to restore her order. But for now, she had more pressing matters. Despite the slight chaos, she still knew exactly what to wear. Hello. After a moment's thought, she pulled out a tailored mustard yellow dress that hugged her curves perfectly. It was bold, it was vibrant, just the right thing to lift her spirits. She paired it with a black suede ankle boot and layered it with a silver necklace that added a touch of elegance to the ensemble. Okay, Monica. Her hair, however, was another story. It was time for some maintenance. The braids had lost their luster, and she could tell her roots needed a touch-up. Deciding she'd go to the salon later, she fingered her hair into a sleek bun. You know how we do. Adding a bit of edge with a silk scarf tied around it. Okay. Before heading out, Monica slipped on a deep plum lipstick that complemented her outfit perfectly. She grabbed her laptop bag, ready to face the day. Even her mind was still clouded with thoughts. What had happened in the past few days? Monica days was kind of crazy, I tell you. At her favorite cafe, Bean Bliss, she ordered a caramel almond latte with a dash of cinnamon and a turkey and avocado sandwich on a whole wheat with a side of mixed greens. The sandwich, satisfying blend of flavor, the creamy avocado, the juicy turkey, and the slight tang of the dressing on the greens. Oh, Monica found a cozy corner by the window and opened her laptop, ready to work on her speech again. She also thought how nice it would be to start a nonprofit that would empower women, especially those who, like her, were curvy and vivacious. She knew how difficult it could be to love yourself in a world that often seemed to prize thinness above all. Her vision was to help women embrace their beauty, no matter their size, and to promote a lifestyle that was not only healthy but also fashionable. Hmm. But for now, back to the speech. All right. As she typed, the words for her speech flowed easily. Ladies, it's time to love yourself. I mean, truly, deeply, and without hesitation. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need to be smaller, quieter, less. But I'm here to tell you that your size, your curves, your presence are a gift. All right? It's time to celebrate the bodies we have while striving for the lives we deserve. Embrace your beauty, embrace your strength, and know that you are enough just as you are. Together, we'll redefine what it means to be beautiful. Feeling a sense of purpose, Monica closed her laptop and left the cafe, heading to the salon. After a few hours of pampering, her hair was transformed, baby. Long braids, ascended with delicate gold cups, framed her face. She felt like herself again, confident and ready to tackle the whatever came next. Later, she met up with Janelle after work. The two friends headed back to Monica's loft, where they spent the evening discussing Monica's plans. Janelle, ever the supportive friend, encouraged her, though she also mentioned further about the job opening at her company, director of janitorial services position. Monica considered it, not exactly excited about the prospect, but knowing she needed to help her, she needed help. She needed to help. Wait a minute. She needed to keep her options open. Monica Money was tight, and as much as she wanted to dive headfirst into her new venture, she also had bills to pay and a lifestyle to maintain. Don't we all? As Janelle headed out to meet Terrence, a new man in her life. Okay, she got a new man, honey. Monica waved goodbye. The echoes of their conversation lingered in her mind. Alone now, she decided to unwind with the movie. She'd been meaning to watch Under the Influence, a film by that same director who created The Client, one of her favorite TV series. The movie promised to be a roller coaster of emotions, and Monica was ready to immerse herself in it. Hello, she was. But first, she wanted to be comfortable. She headed to her closet, pulled out a luxurious robe that she received as a Christmas gift from a man she dated like 2 years ago. The relationship had been toxic, though, with him being controlling and possessive. Yes, he had impeccable taste. And this robe was proof of that, honey. It was soft, it was silky, and made her feel like a queen. But as beautiful as the robe was, it hadn't been enough to keep him in her life. Monica slipped her robe on, feeling its smooth fabric against her skin. She then made her way to the kitchen, where she rummaged through the cabinet until she found a bag of popcorn. She popped into the microwave, listening to the kernels crackle, pop, as she anticipated the warmth and comfort of the buttery snack. With the popcorn ready, she settled into her couch, ready to press play on the movie. And just as she was about to get lost in the world of Under the Influence, her phone rang. It was Darnell. Her heart skipped a beat as she answered, "Hey, Monica." Darnell's voice was smooth and inviting. "I was thinking about you. Mind if I come over?" Monica's eyes lit up with excitement. "I love that," she replied, unable to hide the delight in her voice. After hanging up, Monica realized she wanted to fix herself up a bit. She headed back to her closet, slipping out of the robe and into a pair of stylish shorts and a t-shirt with the words "Main Character Energy" embezzled across the front. It was it was casual yet fashionable, perfectly capturing her vibe. She debated whether to put on her Air Force Ones, but decided against it. She was staying in, you know what I'm saying? An hour later, the doorbell rang and Monica's heart fluttered. She opened the door to find Darnell standing there looking as handsome as ever. He smiled, pulling her into a warm embrace. Okay. As they hugged, she breathed in his scent. It was clean with a hint of spice. It was intoxicating. Ooh. They moved to the couch where Monica had already queued up the movie. As they settled in, they started watching Under the Influence. Both getting drawn into the storyline, Bryce, the protagonist, was torn between two women, Brooklyn and Kenya, unable to make up his mind. Malachi's best friend was definitely a comic relief, and his relationship with his mother seemed so familiar. Monica and Darnell were quiet, surprised at what's to happen with Dale. This movie was truly written by a sci-fi genius. At one point, their laughter faded and they found themselves just looking at each other. Oh, gazing. The movie now over, the air between them grew thick with anticipation. Darnell's eyes locked into Monica's as she felt her breath catch in her throat. Slowly, he leaned in, his lips brushing softly against hers. The kiss, the kiss was tender at first, almost tentative, but it quickly deepened, becoming more passionate. Darnell's hands moved to her waist, pulling her closer as their kisses became more fervent. Monica felt a surge of electricity run through her body. Ooh! Every nerve ending alive with sensation. His hands were gentle, yet firm, as they began to explore. Sliding beneath her shirt to caress her soft, glowing skin, Monica shivered at his touch. Her senses heightened. She allowed herself to get lost in the moment, her mind going blissfully blank as they continued to kiss. Darnell was patient, taking his time, making her feel cherished and desired. As he began to slowly remove her clothing piece by piece, the intimacy between them grew stronger. Monica could feel her heart racing, the thrill of the moment overwhelming her. Their knees grew more intense, their breathing heavier as the passion between them reached its peak, just as Darnell's lips trailed down her neck, sending shivers down her spine. Monica's mind raced with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. She knew where this was headed, and she wanted it. She wanted him. But there was a part of her that wondered if this was moving too fast. What y'all think, Chad? Suddenly, a noise from the TV jolted from back to reality. They paused, both breathing heavily, their faces inches apart. Darnell looked into Monica's eyes, searching for something, an answer. Perhaps? Perhaps? Is this getting juicy or what? Perhaps reassurance. Monica bit her lip, her mind swirling with emotions. Should I continue this? Monica thought. Yes, Monica. And she did. The next morning, Monica woke up next to Darnell, the sunlight warmer now casting a golden glow over their entangled bodies. She slipped out of bed, quietly rushing to the bathroom to brush her teeth and freshen up. When she slid back under the covers, Darnell stirred and then woke up fully, smiling at her. Wow, do your breath always smell so amazing in the morning? He teased, brushing her braid from her face. Monica laughed softly, feeling a rush of warmth at the simple compliment. Darnell insisted on making breakfast, and she stayed in bed, enjoying the rare luxury of being catered to. The scent of sizzling bacon and brewing coffee wafted through the apartment, and soon enough, Darnell returned with a tray. Okay. He had made scrambled eggs with herbs, crispy bacon, buttered toast, and a side of fresh fruit. The plate was garnished with parsley, and he even poured her a glass of orange juice. Isn't that sweet? As he placed the tray on her lap, Monica couldn't help but think, why didn't I give him a chance before? This treatment, this attention, it was something she had always wanted. Chat, Has anyone ever made you breakfast in bed? Go ahead and subscribe if you liking this story. All right, so they both sat in bed, eating and laughing, talking about everything from work to their favorite childhood memories. So, what do you think about going on a date this weekend? Darnell asked between bites of toast. I was thinking we can rent jet skis, go out under the moonlight, and just enjoy the atmosphere. Just you and me. Monica's heart fluttered as this thought. That sounds incredible, she said, smiling at him, her eyes sparkling with excitement. But then she thought, me? On a jet ski? I don't know. Then something said, yes, Monica. Great, Darnell said, his grin widening, but then he glanced at the clock. I hate to cut this short, but I have to head to work. Mind if I take a quick shower here? Okay, of course you can, Monica replied, still nibbling on the last piece of fruit as he headed to the bathroom. Now, as Darnell was in the shower, Monica's phone rang. It was Marcus. Her heart skipped a beat as she saw his name flash on the screen. She hesitated for a moment, glancing toward the bathroom door, hoping Darnell wouldn't overhear. Quickly, she slipped on her robe and answered the call, her voice low. Hey, Marcus, she said, trying to sound casual. Monica, I was thinking, can I come over? I have some details about the event I'd like to discuss in person. Marcus said smoothly, his tone as charming as ever. Monica's heart raced. She liked Darnell, but there was something about Marcus that intrigued her. But she hesitated. Marcus, I'm not sure if it's a good time. Of course it's not a good time. Darnell's in the bathroom. Man, Darnell's taking a shower. Hello. Oh, come on. Come on, girl. It'll just be business. Marcus persisted, his voice almost coaxing. Right? Monica sighed, knowing she was playing with fire. Okay, well, just business. I would text you my address. She agreed, her mind racing as she thought about the logistics. Marcus would be here soon, and Darnell was still in the shower. She hoped they wouldn't cross paths. Because imagine that. Imagine they cross paths. Anyway, as soon as Darnell stepped out of the bathroom, she moved quickly, offering a bright smile to mask her anxiety. She looked refreshed. No, she didn't. She said, her eyes trailing over her broad frame wrapped in a towel. Thanks, Darnell, replied, flashing a smile as he grabbed his clothes and put them on. I should get going, but I'll call you later about the weekend, okay? Absolutely, Monica said, walking him to the door, her heart thudding as she realized how close she was cutting it. Once Darnell left, she exhaled, hurrying to get ready for Marcus' arrival. She chose a casual but chic outfit, a pair of high-waisted jeans that flattered her curves, paired with like a soft off-the-shoulder sweater, a warm shade of cream. She opted for a soft pink lip color, something subtle yet sophisticated, and added a pair of gold hoops that framed her face perfectly. Her face, still in its freshly done braids with gold accents, gave her a regal touch that she knew would turn heads. Okay. Monica arrived soon after looking sharp in a tailored suit that screamed expensive taste. His cologne lingered in the air as he stepped into her apartment, his eyes immediately landing on her with approval. You look stunning, Monica, he said, his voice smooth as silk. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus, she replied, trying to keep her tone neutral, but she couldn't. They sat down to discuss the details of She Did That event, Marcus outlining everything again from the guest list to decor. But as the conversation went on, Monica noticed Marcus' eyes lingering on her a little too long, his hand brushing up against hers as he passed her some papers, and then without warning, he leaned in, his lips grazing her neck. You smell so good, he murmured, his breath warm against her skin. And you look absolutely delicious. Monica's heart raced as she pulled back slightly, her mind spinning. She was caught between the feelings for Marcus and the new budding romance with Darnell. It was all too much. And as she looked into Marcus' intense gaze, she realized she was standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Marcus didn't know move right away. Monica didn't move right away. Her breath caught in her throat as Marcus' lips hovered close, and for a fleeting second, she allowed herself to fall into a familiar pull. Yes, Monica, she thought. Her lips met. His lips met hers. Soft at first, searching, then with a hunger that had been simmering beneath the surface since the moment they met. She responded without thinking, wrapping her arms around his neck, pulling him closer. His hands found the lower of her back, then her waist, his touch igniting sparks that made her knees weak. Papers fell from the table unnoticed, drifting like forgotten thoughts to the floor as Marcus lifted her gently, settling her on the edge of the couch. His mouth moved from her lips to her jawline, then down to her collarbone. She gasped, eyes fluttering, closed. A moan escaped her, her lips, as her fingers. Wait, I think I was reading that too fast. She gasped, her eyes fluttering, closed. A moan escaping her lips as her fingers tangled in his shirt. God, thank you, Marcus whispered against her skin, voice thick with desire. She knew she would stop, knew this was dangerous. But in that moment, wrapped in his arms, the world outside faded. His pants unbuckled, her panties dropped, and Marcus took the next yes as an invitation. His lips kissed her precious parts below. She moaned, "Yes, Monica." Body could not stop the urge now. She knew she was at the point of no return. He looked up at her, licked his lips, and then kissed her. Slid his Johnson Willie inside her with the motion she had never felt. The motions, the passion, incredible. Then he turned around, kissed her wide butt, and slid inside her again. She moaned even louder, and then knock, knock. Her heart lurched. She pulled back, wide-eyed, breathless. "Oh my God!" she whispered, looking toward the door. Her pulse thundered in her ears. "Who is that?" Marcus asked, voice low but sharp. "I don't know," but she had a feeling of who it may be. Marcus raised an eyebrow with still breathless shirt half buttoned. "Yes, expecting someone?" "You expecting someone?" "I didn't plan this, if that's what you're thinking," Monica whispered harshly. "It just happened." The knocking again. Louder this time. Urgent. "Monica!" Darnell's voice echoed through the door. "You in there?" Marcus narrowed his eyes. "What are you going to do?" "You can just tell him to come back later." He leaned in closer again, wanting to be deeper inside her. "Two consenting adults, Monica. Why are you acting like we did something wrong? Tell him you're busy." "I can't do that," she hissed, panic rising. "I'm not even sure what this is. You and me. I can't let him find you here like this." Another knock, harder. "Monica!" Darnell called again. She pressed her fingers to her temple, eyes darting, pushing Marcus out of her. "Go in the bathroom," she pleaded. "Please, just for now. Let me handle this." She pressed her fingers to her temples, eyes darting, pushing Marcus, right? Marcus stared at her for a long beat, jaw clenched, chest rising, falling. "So that's how it is now? I'm a secret?" Marcus stared at her for a long beat, jaws clenched, chest rising and falling. "So that's how it is now? I'm a secret? Hello?" "No," she snapped softer this time. "You're just unexpected." Marcus held her gaze, then turned silently and walked to the bathroom, pausing at the door. This isn't over. Then he slipped inside. Monica took a deep breath, tried to smooth her hair, put on her clothes, and wiped any trace of guilt from her face as she made her way to the front door. Her heart was pounding. Ba-bump, ba-bump. So hard it echoed in her ears, and she opened the door. Darnell stood there, smiling. Hey, beautiful, I left my wallet in your bedroom. She forced a smile, though her insides were in chaos. And behind her in the bathroom, Marcus, waiting. Marcus kept the door open just enough to mask the chaos behind her as Darnell stepped inside. He walked with that familiar confidence as if he lived here with her. And everything in this moment suddenly felt off balance. I just came to grab my wallet, he said, smiling as he leaned in, pressed a soft kiss to her cheek. Didn't mean to scare you with all the knocking. Monica forced a chuckle. Her body stiffed under her touch. It's fine. You just caught me off guard, that's all. Um, he looked at her closely, brow furrowing. Everything's okay, he asked gently. Is everything okay? He asked gently. You seem, I don't know, a little nervous. She swallowed hard, stealing a quick glance towards the bathroom door before forcing a reassuring smile. Nervous? No. Why would I be? Darnell paused, searching her eyes for a beat, then nodding slowly. All right, if you say so. She watched him grab her wallet from the side table and head for the door. Before leaving, he turned back to her and smiled again. I'll call you later, all right? Okay, she said, voice barely above a whisper. See you later. The door shut behind them. Monica didn't even have time to exhale before she heard the click of the bathroom door and the unmistakable energy shifted that came with it. Yeah, I know, cause Marcus was in the bathroom waiting for Darnell to leave. All right, so Marcus stepped out, eyes locked on her, intensity simmering just beneath the surface. You handled that well, he said, voice low, almost amused. Before she could respond, he was across the room in a few strides, pulling her close, his hands firm but not rough, his lips brushing against her neck in the same spot as earlier, rekindling everything that just had been paused. Marcus, Marcus, she started, but he didn't let her finish. He guided her back until the backs of her knees hit the bed and she kneeled over. Breath caught in her throat. His touch was deliberate, the kind that made her mind go blank. Her thoughts scattered like leaves in a storm. Taking off her clothes again, and it was happening again like a wave, pulling her under. And before she could process it, the heat, the tension, the unsaid words between them all blurred into the reckless, stolen moment. And then it was over. Marcus stood buttoning his shirt like he hadn't just up appended her entire emotional balance. Y'all, hold on. Ooh, I want to take so long for these lives to. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I come back and uh, read the rest. I got caught up. All right. All right. Back to the book. All right. Where were we? Um. Okay. Yeah. Let's finish signing those papers in your living area. He said, business like now. I need them today. She sat there, lips parted, eyes wide, trying to steady her breath. He leaned down, pressed a kiss to her forehead, tender but jarringly. Final, Monica, looking at her papers, hesitated but sighed just to get him out of her home. Wait, I'm reading. He leaned down, pressed a kiss to her forehead, tender but jarringly. Monica, looking at the papers, hesitated but sighed just to get him out of her home so she could think. Thanks, Monica. As just like that, he walked out the door, clicking shut behind him. Well, I can't read tonight. And just like that, he walked out the door, clicking shut behind him. Oops, that must be an error. The door clicking shut behind him. Oh, that makes sense. Monica, Monica sat in the silence, staring at the space he just left. Her body was still humming, her heart racing, but but her mind completely lost. What just happened? How did she get here? And what was she going to do now? As the door closed behind Marcus, Monica went off to sit on the edge of the bed. The room felt unsettled. Her mind drifted about the papers they had signed earlier. She wondered at the signature, her own handwriting scrawled over the dotted line in her mind. Wait, what exactly did I sign? The question echoed in her mind. She thought it was just standard event paper, approvals, authorizations, but Monica had been so confident, so commanding, and she had been too distracted by everything else to double check. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe sleeping with them, especially with Darnell still in the picture, wasn't just messy. Maybe it was dangerous. But then again, maybe she was just overthinking it. Maybe Marcus wasn't the villain her instincts were trying to paint. Maybe she was scared of feeling things too deeply. Monica had changed into something casual yet striking, a soft tan sweater dress that clung gently to her curves this time. Paired with knee-high suede boots, her braids were pulled into a loose bun, a few strands framing her face effortlessly. She looked like a woman who had things together, even if inside she was a storm. To clear her head, she grabbed her keys and slid into her sleek black Mercedes. She needed a moment, something indulgent, something sweet. The idea came quickly chocolate wine, rich, smooth, a guilty pleasure. She parked outside a cozy little wine shop tucked between a bakery and an antique bookstore. As she walked in, the bell above the door chimed, and the smell of the oak cherries wrapped around her. As she browsed the shelves, the young clerk behind the counter took notice. Tall, slim build, caramel skin, and eyes like honey. Chocolate wine, huh? He said, approaching with a teasing grin. Going for sweet and bold tonight? She laughed softly, the sound involuntary. Something like that. Great choice. I actually save a bottle for myself every weekend. Want want the deluxe or the smooth finish? Smooth, she said, smiling despite herself. There was a spark of lightness. He bagged her bottle, their fingers brushing just briefly as he handed it over. Enjoy it, and if you ever want company to help drink it. She looked down and saw a small folded paper tucked into the bag. His number. Monica chuckled under her breath. You're bold. I try, he said with a wink. Back in her car, bottle in hand, she started the engine, then froze. Across the street, standing under the warm glow of a street lamp, was Marcus. Mm. And next to him, Kendra. Her pulse skipped. Kendra? Again? She remembered how Marcus brushed off their past in the restaurant. That was done, he said, dead and gone. So why did they look so familiar now? Standing a little too close, laughing, talking like secrets was passing between them. Her jaw clenched. This wasn't sitting right. Curiosity ignited. Monica grabbed her phone, crossed the street carefully, and ducked behind an old decorative planter in front of the bakery. It was filled with dying mums, a few dry leaves swirling at the base. It barely covered her, but she crouched low, her breath catching as she inched closer. And then, bam! Bam! A woman bumped hard into her, walking briskly past. The woman stumbled, looked her up and down with a disgusted sneer. Watch where the hell you're going, you fat bee. Monica's jaws dropped. Excuse me? Normally, she'll pull out the pepper spray from her purse and let the moment escalate, but all she had was her phone. So not today. She was already drawing too much attention anyway. But something about that woman's face. Familiar, same complexion, similar build as her, just rougher, a little more misguided, and oddly enough, holding the same brand of chocolate wine in her paper bag. Weird. She shook it off, turning her eyes back towards Marcus and Kendra, but by the time she looked again, they were walking away together towards a sleek midnight blue Aston Martin, the kind that purred like a panther and cost more than some homes. She watched in stunned silence as they got in, Marcus opening the passenger door for Kendra like a gentleman in a movie, and then they drove off into the city lights. Monica's heart ached with confusion. What the hell is going on with Marcus and Kendra? She returned to her car, grabbed the bottle in her hand, now feeling heavier, more like a burden than comfort, and deciding to open it now or drink from the top. She went against her crave. When she got home, she kicked off her boots, undressed slowly, and slipped into her favorite satin pajama set. Soft pink, loose, and comfortable. She didn't bother with the glass. She opened that chocolate wine and drank straight from the bottle. The sweetness sliding down with the quiet burn. The TV flicked on. She scrolled until she found a new release from her favorite indie director, Coulson. The one whose stories always hit her in the chest, right where it hurts, and heals at the same time. As the opening credits rolled, her mind drifted. What would it be like to work with Coulson? To write something powerful, to turn this chaos into a story that mattered. Her thoughts blurred into dreams, the wine warming her as the room dimmed around her. And somewhere between the last sip and the last scene, Monica drifted off, the bottle still in her hand and the unanswered questions swirling quietly in the dark. Monica stirred in her sleep, her mind drifting into the realm of dreams once again. This wasn't the chaotic whirlwind she had experienced before, nor did it carry the terror of her previous encounters. It was softer, more ethereal, a place that felt simultaneously unfamiliar and intimately known. Wow, isn't that interesting? You understand? In the dream, she was surrounded by a vast expanse of stars, each twinkling like a tiny beacon of hope in the dark void of space. She floated effortlessly, weightless and serene. The stars seemed to whisper to her. The voices blended into a melody she couldn't quite place. It was hauntingly beautiful. Then, as if from nowhere, a figure appeared, faceless but radiated a presence that felt both comforting and overwhelming. The air shimmered around him as he spoke, their voice resonating not just in hers but deep within her soul. I will always love you, Monica, the figure said, his tone filled with a profound, unshakable certainty across all worlds, through time and space. Monica tried to respond to ask, "Who are you?" And or what wait. Monica tried to respond to ask, "Who are you?" or what this meant, but her voice caught in her throat. The figure began to fade, the silhouette dissolving into the shimmering starlight, yet the words lingered, echoing in the endless expanse. She reached out, despite to hold. Oh my God, I'm reading retarded right now. Must be getting tired. It is 2:42. All right, we're almost done. She reached out, desperate to hold onto the moment, but it was gone as suddenly as it had come. The stars dimmed, and she felt herself being pulled back as if walking from a trance. Monica jolted awake, her heart pounding in her chest. Her room was dark, the faint glow of her bedside clock casting a soft light on the walls. She sat up, her breath uneven, as she tried to piece together the fragments of her dream. "What does it all mean?" she whispered to herself, running her fingers through her hair. Her pulse still raced, but this time it wasn't from fear, it was something else. The words repeating in her mind like mantra, refusing to let go. "I will always love you, Monica, across all worlds, through time and space." She clutched her chest, the luring warmth from the dream filling her with a strange sense of both comfort and unease. Monica swung her legs over the side of the bed, her frustration bubbling to the surface. She rubbed her temples, trying to shake off the remnants of the dream. It wasn't just the dream itself. It was the constant feeling of being pulled into something she didn't understand, something she wasn't sure she even wanted to understand. "Enough is enough," she said aloud, her voice firm and resolute. "Enough is enough." That's what she said it. Yeah, that's how she said it. "I no longer want to remember any dreams. My life is already chaotic. I need to focus on here and now. No more, no more." She stood and walked in the bathroom, her reflection staring back at her in the mirror. Her eyes looked tired, like they carried the weight of something she couldn't explain. She leaned forward, gripping the edges of the sink. "These dreams don't own me," she whispered to herself. "They don't define my life." With a deep breath, Monica splashed cold water on her face. She shook it off, grounding her. She decided she would push them dreams to the back of her mind, lock them away, and throw away the key. They weren't going to control her anymore. She made herself a simple breakfast, the hum of the coffee maker providing a soothing backdrop as she focused on the mundane details of her morning. Toast eggs and a steaming cup of coffee felt like her rebellion against the chaos that had taken root in her life. It was her way of saying she was in control. As she sat at the table, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Janelle. "Hey, just checking in. Let me know how you're doing. And don't forget about what I said. Call me if you need anything." Monica smiled faintly. Janelle's constant support was a reminder that she wasn't entirely alone in all of this. Still, she was determined to take back the reins of her life. No more spiraling into the confusion of dreams. No more letting strange occurrences dictate her mood. As the day stretched ahead, Monica made a list of things she needed to do. Clean her apartment, sort through her cluttered thoughts, maybe even start looking into that job Janelle had mentioned. It was time to reclaim her focus, one step at a time. Ooh, child. The dreams might come again, but Monica vowed they wouldn't have the same hold on her. Not anymore. Monica finished tidying up her apartment, the repetitive motions easing some of the tension she had carried since waking up. But as she folded the last blanket and placed it neatly on the couch, a lingering thought refused to let her rest. She grabbed her phone, hesitating for a moment before scrolling to the familiar contact, Jean. With a deep breath, she pressed call. Jean answered after the third ring, her voice sharp. What now, Monica? What do you want? Monica clenched her teeth but kept her tone steady. Mom, I need to ask you something. It's about Dad, Benjamin. Jean's voice turned colder. Why are you bringing that man up now? I already told you he's gone. End of story. Monica didn't let up. I don't believe you, Mom. There's something in your voice. You're hiding something from me. For once, just tell me the truth. Is he alive or not? Jean's anger erupted like a storm. Why can't you just let it go? Monica, leave it alone. He's dead. I've told you that 100 times. But it doesn't make sense, Monica pressed. The way you avoid talking about him, the way you get defensive, it's like you're lying to me. Jean's voice dropped to an icy calm that was almost more unsettling than her yelling. Leave me alone, Monica. I'll call you when I need something. Before Monica could respond, Jean hung up. Staring at the phone, Monica let out an exasperated sigh. That woman and her audacity, she muttered, shaking her head. But deep down, her mother's reaction only solidified Monica's suspicion. Something wasn't adding up, and she wasn't about to let it rest. Whatever secrets Jean was guarding, Monica was determined to uncover them, even if it meant digging into her past. Her mother clearly wanted to keep buried. Monica sighed deeply, deciding to shelve the mystery surrounding her father for now. She had more intimate concerns to focus on, and one of them was Marcus. Grabbing her phone, she scrolled through her recent calls until she found his name. Pressing call, she rehearsed in her head how she'd bring up Kendra without sounding too obvious. Because remember, Marcus just made love to her, right? And I don't know if that was making love, but and then she seen him with Kendra, which is her rival, when she went to go buy her some wine. So you gotta read the whole book to see the connection for real, though. But hey, Marcus, Monica said, keeping her tone light. I wanted to ask you something. Are you still seeing Kendra? Because I think I saw you two together. Marcus chuckled softly, his charm dripping through the phone. Kendra? She's just an old acquaintance. Nothing to worry about. But let's not talk about her. Tell me about you, Monica. How's your day going? All right, so we're not going more into the book, okay? I'll probably read a little bit more of the book tomorrow. This is just one of the chapters of Breaking Monica's Story, a novel by Naija Coulson. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get the Kindle version. The paperback is only $13.99. The Kindle version is $4.99. And of course, if you have that Kindle, whatever, is free, something like that. So, let's see. I put a poll, and 56% of people was not subscribed that watched the live, and 44% was. Okay, hello. Well, y'all have a very good morning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.